Cool to the wonderful. Okay. So, where were we? I think we were reading the Heart Sutra, weren't we?
Heart Sutra.
Trying to read it and understand what the hell is going on here. What is these guys talking about? So here, it's important that we understand that it say form is empty, right? As we were saying, that is just saying that form it's empty of this inherent self-existing, substantial, permanent way of existing. And then it says emptiness is form, which is saying that because things are in that completely unrealistic or not inherent, because things are not inherent, they can manifest, they can change, they can be in a certain way if we create the conditions and cause and conditions together. That is freedom. Understanding that things depend on cause and conditions means if we just put the cause and conditions together, then we have freedom. Because we know that if we put the cause and conditions together, the result will come. Right? I know that if I plant an apple seed, I am not going to meet oranges. I'm not going to find oranges. I'm going to find apple. That is the perfection of cause and conditions. There's a perfection of what we call also karma, right? Karma is definite in that moment, or what we say cause and conditions or cause and effect, it's completely perfect, because if we plant apple seeds, the only result is possible apples. It's not another result. So if we planned the causes and conditions for finding happiness, for example, an altruistic mind, what is going to happen? We're going to find happiness. We won't find suffering. So that is freedom that we talk in Buddhism. Having the discrimination and the discernment and the wisdom to understand that if I put the correct causes and conditions, the result can only be one. Does it make sense? Yes? Because right now, what is not freedom from us? These belief that I am in a certain way and I need to continue being in a certain way. And we are not. It's a completely wrong view. We are not like that. We don't need to be like that. And actually, this way of thinking is making you suffer. That's what we need to understand. That's what we need to develop. That is what it has to be. That is what we can transform. That's what wisdom develops, freedom. So then we say emptiness is not other than form, meaning that emptiness, it's not different than causes and conditions. It's again uniting that idea that it's actually because things are empty of inherent existence, of being static, they arise or they are formed by cause and conditions. This is the union of these two. Form is also not other than emptiness. A form in itself is nothing but the manifestation of emptiness. The manifestation of a non-static way of existing. Yes. Right? So a body that is constantly changing is the result of the proof that things are non-static, that things are not inherent, that things are not permanent, that things are not fixed. We are living proof of that. Does it make sense what I'm saying? That's what we are. Yes, Alex.
Yes, I was trying to understand that point. For example, when you think you are fixed and you exist forever, then I try to think like of my parents, like
Yes.
where you were when you were not there. Like they met, but I didn't exist, but now I exist. So how that happened?
Yes, yes. It's an idea of kind of like continuity, right? Is that it just you are not there, right? And then they came together, and then you were formed out of that. And then that continuity, and then this Alex is gonna also disappear, right? This body. The mind will continue, but guess what? It's gonna have another body, you know? Maybe, you know, more hair, different hair, blonde hair, something like this, right? So that already proves that it's not as fixed as we have. We were discussing that at lunchtime. It's very funny when we think about it. If we actually start to think about how in our lives we are so attached to so many things and ideas that at the time of death, they are going to completely cease to be important. But even in our lives, how many times we had that fixed idea that, oh my God, I need to pass to this university, I need to get into this job, I need to have that person, I need to do this trip, I need to do this. How many years? Like maybe 5 years ago or 10 years ago. And now, 10 years later, do you actually remember?
Doesn't matter.
Right?
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter at all. Right? It didn't matter at all. But in that moment, it felt so fixed and important and your whole life. Does it make sense? So try to expand that for lifetimes and ideas. And that's exactly how we think with our own life in this life. It seems so important. And that I have this, that I am this, that I become this, that I do this. Next life, completely gone. You don't believe anything. You don't remember any of these things. Just the kind of like patterns that you actually develop to get attached to these, to get develop that intention and all of that, that comes with you. And then what it does, you become attached from it to a different person, to a different thing, to a different idea, to a different job, to a different thing, just like that. And that's our lives. Again, circling. Does it make sense what I'm talking about?
Yes, but is it, are there beliefs and patterns that we have that we're aware of, but the imprints are deep? So you talk about,
Eliminating.
you're talking about, yeah, you're talking about eliminating the ideas about ourselves that we have as fixed.
Mm-hmm.
How do we get the arising into consciousness so we can have that experience of the ones that we know exist, but they're very deep, so we don't experience them when we experience them, if that makes sense.
So when they arise, okay, which they arise all the time,
Right.
we try to use either a temporary antidote or an ultimate antidote. The temporary antidote is just the kind of like, the what we talk, the positive mental states and all of that. But the absolute antidote is the correct view. Just that. Holding, like here, 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 here. Psst, psst, psst. Look at this phrase. Correctly and repeatedly beholding those five aggregates also as empty of inherent existence. This is what we need to do all the time. If we correctly see ourselves as we are, so every time that someone comes and talks to us, right, accuses us of something, and that comes up, that sense of very strong sense of self, or when we are angry at someone, very strong sense of self, or when we are hungry and we see the burrito and we really want, very strong sense of self. When desire comes up, from about looking at someone's body and really strong sense of self, right? When jealousy comes up, because we want that and we don't have it, really comes up, this really strong sense of self. When it appears, if you have trained your mind by the three wisdoms of listening, contemplating, and meditating, when this comes up, you start to investigate that I that seems so important, that self that seems so inherent and strong, and you look and you say, what are you attached to? What are you anchored to? Where is this I? Is that my mind? Is that my body? Where in my body is it? Oh, I can feel it is in here. Well, but here, if it is there, then it should be there all the time, but it's not, right? Actually, if I open, I'm going to find a little I here, little me self here. No, so it's not there. It's not in my body, right? Where is it? Because it looks so solid, so real, so like, concrete. So it's not in the body because that's what I'm seeing. The body is not that. The body, my body is ever changing. It's all the time changing. Sometimes I feel this, sometimes I don't feel. So it's not in my body. So is it in my mind? Well, my mind is constantly changing as well. My mind, my feelings are not feeling that all the time. My emotions are not emotion that all the time. Where is it? So, oh, it's just because it's an idea. It's a reaction to an idea that I have about the self. So the self, the way the self is appearing to me is instead of me trying to change the reaction only, if I actually eliminate the idea, the wrong idea of how the self seems to appear to me, so inherent, so strong, and I just see that is a mere label. Bob is a mere label. There's no such thing as an inherent Bob that should walk, think, and feel like this, and therefore, because this person is saying this to me, it's harming that idea. So that idea is not there. So when you do that, this immediately dissolves. So if I keep that all the time, then immediately when it comes up, I apply this method, it goes away. So until I familiarize completely myself with the correct view, no need anymore. No coming up. Very easy. That's it. But honestly, there's no, you don't need to like, people think, he's just saying that, but he's not really telling the real, the real things and all of that. That's absolutely, that's just that. The sutra is saying that, right? Correctly and repeatedly, beholding those five aggregates of empty of head nature. So you just do that constantly. Yes, sweetie.
So when we talk about our values, we say, okay, we have certain values, and when we're looking for sometimes a partner or for even friends, we say, they have to kind of sink in with my values.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't want to be with somebody that's a racist, for example,
Mhm.
discrimination
Yes.
of any type of other person.
Yes.
So is that kind of an attachment and looking at yourself as somebody that you're not? And then you would be with somebody that even though they're racist, you would be with them because you've gotten to an enlightenment level that it doesn't bother you anymore? Or I don't understand that part.
Yeah, very good. Is the idea of looking at someone, the problem is the attachment or the aversion that we create about someone that is racist. I'm not saying that doesn't exist racism and people that are racist, right? the people that uphold those ideas in their minds. The reason why they do that is not because they are bad people,
No, I understand that part.
right? It's because they're confused.
Yeah.
So
I'm okay with that part.
I'm okay with that part,
Understand
but
paths.
we do have an aversion to them because we think this person is wrong, is bad, or whatever. We label them in this way. But more than that, we label our happiness dependent on having someone that doesn't have those views. Or we label happiness as dependent on having people that have similar views than mine.
Mm.
That is attachment, right?
Right.
Because attachment becomes happy when it gets what it wants.
Mm.
Anger becomes angry when it doesn't get what it wants or gets what it doesn't want, like racist people close to me. So if I am dependent or if I am under the influence of either these mental states of anger and attachment, I will never find happiness. So what do I need to completely eliminate? The cause of the mind that creates happiness, that creates attachment and anger. What is? The sense of self, the inherent fixed permanence of the way I see myself. And that is the mind that is creating the problem.
Mm-hmm.
So then I look into myself and say, oh, I believe that this is me. Someone that holds these values as inherent, as like holding these values will bring me happiness. That's attachment.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, being free from these mental states brings me happiness. But understanding that these values brings happiness to others if I actually help. Now comes the turning point. Understanding that developing those values in the world, let's say like this, more humanity, more kind of like a interdependence, peace, love, compassion. These makes reality more in tune with reality, which is who we are.
Mm-hmm.
We are compassionate, we are loving, we are kind, and we are interdependent with each other. And we are equal in wanting to be happy and not suffer. We are equal in having the same mental states of, seeing things wrong or seeing things in the right way. Yes. So if I go into this, then actually I'm putting my mind into more in tune with reality. Then I'm going to be happier. But not because having or not having people with these same values will help me. It's not about them. It's about me wanting and applying those values inside of me, because then what I'm actually doing is being racist against people that are racist. Let's say like that. I'm using the same mental state that judges, because what racist people think is that whatever is that is different of their attachment, they judge as negative. We are doing exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
But then we need to know ourselves. Can I actually have a peaceful, kind, clear mental state when I have someone being racist close to me? If I don't, get the hell out of there. Honestly. Because what is going to happen? You're not going to be able to control the anger. So what are you going to do? Habituate your mind. Create more habits of anger. Does it make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So then you let it go of that. But not because you're judging that person, you're thinking that person is bad, you're making that view of that person as kind of like inherent negative. Does it make sense?
Got it. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
That is very nice question, because sometimes we kind of like, then we say, I just can kind of like say, oh yes, but he's not there or something like this, and then I can deal with that. No, sometimes we can't.
Yeah.
And that's okay. But try to change your mind, right? the inherent mind, the mind that really believes, they are wrong. Because then it's like there's a reference point of truth,
Right.
and you are holding it, and they are wrong. Then there's
I mean, I
all
have the compassion because I understand where it's coming from,
that
from their past, something that happened,
That's
their
it.
experience. I totally get
it's
that.
causes and conditions. It's just that. It's
Right.
causes and conditions, right? Is not nobody, even the craziest person in the universe wants to suffer
Right.
and wants to be happy.
You said it is what?
Doesn't the craziest person in the
No,
universe?
You said it is. I couldn't
Causes
get
and
it.
conditions.
It causes and conditions. It's just cause and conditions coming together. So people, like, it doesn't matter. They want to be happy and they don't want to suffer. So whatever view, world view, political view, whatever type of view they have, the reason is because they believe that holding that view will make them happy and not suffer.
Mhm.
That is a deep one. And it's complicated because sometimes it's just easier to get angry at them. Right? So that is the reason. So if we understand that, and we understand that the reason is because they're confused in that way of the way they exist,
Right.
the way they see themselves, right? Then becomes warmer the heart.
Mhm.
It's like, oh wow, I've been there. I know how it is. I know exactly how it feels, you know? And normally racism and all of this comes with low self-esteem as well. Because which is what we mostly have problems with. We see ourselves in such a negative way.
Yeah.
Right? Yes, dear.
I'm just looking at the phrase form is empty, emptiness is form.
Hmm?
And isn't it like it's like a
Form is
short
empty.
summary of the whole path there? Like show you how you are, how you can see your delusions, and how can you develop your Buddha nature. So,
These four, I would say the four of them. Form is empty, emptiness is form, emptiness is not other than form, and form is also not other than emptiness. These four phrases, they are the essence, let's say like that, of the teachings. Because then he's gonna be almost saying the same way everything else is like this, right? That's what he's trying to say. So when he says form is empty, they are saying it's the text is saying, the sutra is saying form and everything else is empty of inherent nature. Okay? Why? Because being empty of inherent nature is what makes things appear, things be, like form. Form is cause and effect, ever changing, right? They can only do that because they're empty, because their nature, their absolute nature is emptiness. Yes? So when it says emptiness is not other than form, is to say emptiness is the basis in which form can manifest. It's just that. It's just all the time bringing these two views together and saying form is also not other than actually the manifestation of emptiness. It's like proving, right? It's a rational way. It's like it's almost saying a logic thing is saying form is also not other than emptiness because things exist here is because they're empty of being static, permanent, fixed, inherent. Our lives can only exist the way it exists because Emptiness is the absolute, the nature of everything. And the way things appear, or the way things manifest, is through cause and effect. So form is also not other than that manifestation of the emptiness. Does it make sense? And then the text is just going to say, in the same way, and then it goes, instead of saying, if it was me, very easy. Lazy monk, just say, in the same way, everything else is like this. Finish. But it goes explaining aspect by aspect. Yes, Tom?
Where it says, so feeling, discrimination, compositional factors, and consciousness are the parts of the mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
But before feeling, doesn't the mind come into contact with the object before feeling?
Yes, but it doesn't kind of like goes into that, let's say, it's the form aspect that is going to come with the contact of the object. So is the mental, is the eye, right? For example, is the eye or is the hand that is going to touch the cup, and then that contact will come and be interpret into with the mind to have a feeling of good or bad or pleasant or unpleasant. Actually, it's very nice. Yes. So is the form aspect first in that contact. Yeah.
That's part of form.
That's going to be part of form in that sense.
So the senses are part of form.
Yes. Right. Of course, we have the sensory, the mental sense. Like, yes, but that is going to be already in the feeling, discrimination, compositional factors, and consciousness. It's going to be part of it. Yes. So that is, it's when we study the 12 links, it's very easy to see how this works.
But what about when a thought arises? Is that an object?
Definitely, it's an object, but it's going to be a mental object, right? So, but we need the brain for that thought to arise, right? Because otherwise, the thought that will arise in my brain is going to be different than the thought that will arise in the brain of a dog. So it is dependent still of the form. Yeah? Does it make sense?
But the mind is also empty.
Definitely. It's very important that we understand that. You know, the same way, feeling, discrimination, compositional factors, and consciousness, so the mind, everything that forms the mind, are empty. So it's not only the form. So instead of him going and doing the same thing with each of them, saying, feeling is empty, emptiness is feeling. Emptiness is not other than feeling. Feeling is also not other than emptiness. He just says, in the same way, means these four almost, no, I don't know this word. In these four phrases, everything would be applied. Yes, feeling you could replace for form, compositional factors, discriminations, consciousness. Yes, so you could say consciousness is empty, emptiness is consciousness. Yes, does it make sense? So you use these four phrases with all of these different things that he's gonna do. And then he says, Shariputra, likewise, all phenomena are emptiness without any inherent characteristics. He's just saying inherent, but that's what he means. He's not saying that it doesn't have characteristics. Of course, things have characteristics. I cannot say that this is a crystal glass, and this is a crystal glass. They are both glasses, yes, but this is a crystal because it has specific characteristics that is going to be a valid basis, yes, for me to call it crystal glass. Otherwise, I could not discriminate, determine what is the difference between a paper cup and just a normal cup, a glass cup. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
What he's saying is that there is no inherent characteristic. What does it mean? It means that if I drop these, it's gone, right? Or if I actually bring that and I make it sand and I mix it with fire, actually can take the characteristic of being a crystal pig. Do you understand what I mean? It's just dependent on cause and conditions. So that's what he's saying. Yes?
We usually like make such a split between like nirvana is freedom from samsara and conventional reality. Like that's totally off, right? To say that they're two different worlds. Like there's the world of the conventional reality, and then there's bliss and nirvana. That's like it seems like the form is emptiness. Like they're both.
Well, if we are seeing and thinking that nirvana or enlightenment is somewhere else, then yes. If I think that I need to buy go into SpaceX rocket to go to nirvana or whatever, that I can buy the ticket, go to Fort Lauderdale Airport and get it. If there is somewhere that is nirvana or enlightenment, then yes. But it's true, we do have a tendency of kind of like creating that idea that, like, this is kind of like, like is nirvana is going to be in that direction. But actually, it's just a perception of the mind. Right? It's just that. It's just a perception, nothing else. So that's why
Is everything a perception of the mind?
We would say everything the way that we see it now is a perception of the mind. An enlightened mind, there's not a perception in this sense of discrimination, right? It's always as it is. So Shariputra, likewise, all phenomena are emptiness without inherent characteristic. They are not inherent produced, inherent unceased, stainless, not without stain, not deficient, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore, in emptiness, in that absolutely, freedom of inherent existence, there is no inherent form, no inherent feeling, no inherent discrimination, no inherent compositional factors, no inherent consciousness. He's not saying that there is no form at all. There's no inheritance. There's no permanent, fixed, self-existing form, feeling, discrimination, compositional factors. Does it make sense? That's what he's trying to negate. He's not trying to negate everything. He's not saying, oh, there's no form at all. No, he's saying, dude, check your mind and say, there is no inherent form, because if there was inherent form, you could not be here the way you are. You could not be aging. You could not be changing. And guess what? You are changing. Your body is changing. Your mind is changing. Everything is changing. So why you believe in that? Why you cling to that idea? It's completely useless. Yes? That's what he's saying in a way. And then he starts. No inherent eye, no inherent ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visual form. So here you see the first phrase. First phrase, he's talking about the body, the form, and then he talks about the mind already. Visual form, no sound, no order, no taste, no object of touch, and no phenomena. Right? There is no eye element, and so on, up to including no mind element and no mental consciousness element. So he's going negating everything being inherent, everything being self-existing, everything being permanent, fixed. That's what he's going to negate. To tell us, like, everything that is appearing to you in this way, it's wrong. So investigate appearance. Don't buy into everything that is appearing to your mind. Yes? That is a little bit the idea. There is no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance. And so up to including no aging and death, and no extinction of aging and death. What he's trying to say, remember that I gave the example of the snake and the rope? He's trying to say to us, there is no need for you to stop the fear of the snake. Don't worry about being afraid of snake. Look at the nature of the snake. Because if you eliminate that, everything is going to be eliminated. That's what he's trying to say. He's just saying there is no such thing as an inherent snake over there, right? The snake in the rope. So everything else, I gave this example in the beginning. So that is completely never existed in this way, and it will never exist. It will never exist a snake in that rope, ever. So is that what he's trying to say? There is no actually inherent ignorance. It will never be and will never actually exist. There is only cause and effect ignorance. Because if there was inherent ignorance, it could never be eliminated. But we can eliminate ignorance through what? What we are doing here. Developing wisdom. If we develop wisdom, we can eliminate ignorance. Yes. Does it make sense? It's very profound, but it's very special because it becomes the possibility, is giving us the possibility of being liberated from our own mistakes and mistaken view.
So, I'm sorry.
Please.
If there's no, these things don't have any inherent existence, right? Then there's no time sequence in which these things happen inherently. There's no sequence, it seems to be what that says. Like there's no time.
Here is more actually talking about the 12 links.
Okay.
Remember the 12 links? Start with ignorance, ends up with death.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that the same as perceptions of time or no?
It's not necessarily the perceptions of time. You could talk about the perceptions of time, but actually what we're going to talk is about how that link of seeing things inherent create all of the suffering that we experience in our lives. Not only in this life, every life. That's what really actually talks about more. And especially that idea that the view of inheritance, of inherently existing, of existing by its own nature, it's it doesn't matter the time, it doesn't matter, it's never actually there. It's not there in the sense of existing inherent. It's never going to exist, ever. So this way of appearance.
Right, I meant time as in this thing happens and then this and then this and then this, right? That's what I meant by a sequence, but that's not what this is.
I don't think it is what it,
You know, like no aging and death, no, I don't know. In other interpretations, I've seen the term no being and no becoming.
There is also I think is in that they translate it differently. Isn't this one here?
Maybe.
So I think it is in relation to that, to what the 12 links, right? Understanding that actually when we cut the ignorance, we cut all of the sufferings that can arise, and including our biggest fear, which is death, right? The end of everything. So actually it's just saying that when we realize emptiness, there is no death. Because there's no inherent death. There's only cause and effect. So we understand because there's only cause and effect, there's no way of dying in the sense that we fear that we're going to die. Because what we fears is going to die is this inherent me. Is this substantial identity that I hold. Right? And I don't want it to be finished because I cling so much, I nourish it so much, I do so much for it. So when we just see cause and effect, there's never dying. And similarly, that's why I love it. I really love this sutra. There is no suffering, origination, cessation, and path, which are the Four Noble Truths. So he's talking about even the teachings that I gave, they are not inherent. They don't exist from their own side. Don't cling to Dharma. Don't cling to me. Don't cling to to something being there that you can cling on to. That holds inherence, that holds permanence, that holds inherent qualities. Not even the Dharma. There's no inherent suffering, inherent sensation, inherent origination, inherent sensation, inherent path. There's only cause and effect. And when we bring that cause and effect together, I label these path, I label these cessation, I label these origination, I label these suffering. Does it make sense? The same way, there's no exalted wisdom, no that type of inherent wisdom. There's not some sort of wisdom out there that I need to bring or get. And also no attainment of it, no realization of it, inherent realization. There's only cause and effect being labeled. Yes?
Is that attachment?
We can have attachment to attainment, right?
No, attachment to cause and effect and labeling.
No, this is just understanding how things are. You don't get
But then we attach.
We can.
We attach to get the inherent nature.
That's what we can. We can develop that attachment towards in getting that. Then we already screwed up everything, right? It's just wrong. Then it's just not going to be able to accomplish it.
Right.
So that's why he's negating everything. So why is he negating? He's negating a way of existing. Why? Because the way we think how things exist now, it's not correct. So that's why I keep saying to you guys many times that this path is a path of deconstruction. We are deconstructing a wrong view. So that's why he's negating this wrong view. Does it make sense what I'm saying? He's not building up anything. So the Buddha didn't create anything in that sense. Yes? He just deconstructed the wrong way that we saw things, and he saw things as they are. Yes? That's what he did. That's why I say that the Buddha is not a kind of like creator as God. He just saw things as they are without the wrong view. Yes? Yeah? Does it make sense? And that's what this sutra is trying to make.
So I know it doesn't create anything, but what's the opposite side of this? What's the other side of the coin? Negate the way I think things exist and deconstruct the wrong view. The developing wisdom and the right view. So
the right view is just seeing things as they are, and how they are, made of cause and conditions, parts being merely labeled. And staying there, not building up more than what they are, right? Because the problem comes when I don't perceive things as being cause and conditions, and I think they are permanent, self-existing, that they arise like the flower in the sky, no cause, right? Like, oh, I get angry with myself or with someone because they are acting in a certain way. And I always say, really? Yeah, but I don't understand. Well, you create the causes. You habituated yourself to acting this way. It didn't come out of the blue. Nothing comes out of the blue, as we say. Right? Everything is causes and conditions. Habituated, therefore they arise. Everything in our lives is like just that. The reason why you act in a certain way is not because you're crazy. It's because you habituated yourself in this way. And the biggest habit we have is that wrong view of how things exist. That's it. So, he says, Shariputra, therefore, because there's no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and dwell in the perfection of wisdom. Means they don't try to achieve anything outside. They don't try to grasp to a nirvana outside. They just realize that is the mind without obscuration and without fear. It's that mind that is completely free from what? The obscuration. What is the obscuration? It's that wrong view that is not allowing ourselves to see anything how they are, which creates the fear. I only get fearful if I'm grasping to something and I don't want this to finish. No, that's anxiety. Anxiety comes there. I don't want this to finish. So I become fearful of that. But if I understand that actually this is the nature of this thing to finish, that thing to break, that person to die, that situation to end, no fear. Yes? Having completely passed beyond error, they reach the end point of nirvana, right? After they correctly and repeatedly hold that mental state, they completely pass beyond error, right? All the Buddhas who dwell in the three times also manifestly completely awaken to unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment in reliance on the perfection of wisdom. So here he's saying, if you want to become a Buddha, if you want to be enlightened, you don't need to be doing 10,000s of prostrations or doing all of that if you don't have that mental state. What you need is to develop that wisdom. That's what you need. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom. So mantra means protection. Yes? So the protection of that the perfection of wisdom gives, the mantra of great knowledge, the protection that what this great knowledge brings, the unsurpassed mantra, the unsurpassed protection, the protection equal to the unequal, the protection or the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering. Yes, the protection that pacifies all suffering should be known as truth, since it is not false. The mantra or the protection of the perfection of wisdom is declared. Taya ta, gate gate, paragate, parasamgate bodhisoha. So what does it mean? Dayata means it is this is the way. So the mantra is saying to us, look, you want to be completely, do you want to pacify all suffering, right? That's what you want, to pacify all suffering. So this is the way, tayata, okay? Gate gate. Gate gate means go, go. Go where? Where are we going?
What did the first one mean again?
Tayata? Tayata means this is the way. So it's explaining us the way. Gate gate means go, go. So gate means go. So gate again, go, go. Where are we going? We are going to investigate our minds and to develop wisdom. That's where we are going. So in some ways, it means that we are developing that understanding. That's where we are going. We are going to develop that understanding of how things exist. So paragate means go beyond. Beyond what? Beyond the wrong view. So remember when I talk about the different paths, the levels of the paths, and I said there is one time, I think I was explaining something to Tao when we talked about it. That is on the third path we see things directly, right? We see things without any type of confusion. So this is the paragate, means I am seeing things as they are. But the appearance, they still manifest, right? As Tao was giving the example, we still see something, and then there is still, something appearing to our minds, and then we still get angry and things like that, right? So parasamgate means go completely beyond that. So what is actually trying to say to us is defining the path. Yeah. So say, go beyond, go completely beyond. So a little bit of what we were discussing now at lunch. So here I'm going to just say something that might be useful, but maybe makes your mind more confused. How the mind works is that when we have a sensory experience, if any of the senses, the way that the hard drive of the mind processes it is through an image, a mental image. What does it mean? It means that when I look at this, I am not looking at the glass. I'm looking at the image of the glass in my mind. Yes? Why is that true? Because if I close my eyes, I can see the image in my mind. And guess what? When I am looking at that image in my mind, I'm interacting with that image, having feelings, like, don't like, pleasant, unpleasant, discriminations. I'm having all of that. And then suddenly I'm do it like this, and it breaks. But if I don't see it in my mind, I'm still having an interaction with that image. And I'm living my life through that interaction. Reality, that image that situation is gone. So the image that is in my mind, it's called a mental image. So what forms this mental image? Our own tendencies, our own patterns, or our karma. That's why the mental image arises in our minds differently to all of us. So actually, the reason why I get attached to this is because when it appears to my mind, it appears in a certain way. And for Debbie, when she sees it, she doesn't care. So in her image of when she looks at this, it's appearing something totally different than my mind. Does it make sense? That is how we are trying, and especially quantum physics, neuroscience is starting to get to the same conclusion. Just that Buddha said 2,500 years ago, but they're going to get there. So what happens is that mental image creates our experience. Love, don't like, dislike, whatever. So when we say gate, paragate, parasangate, so go beyond, go completely beyond. When we say go completely beyond, what we are trying to eliminate is that mental image in the way it appears.
In the way what?
It appears. So I don't want to see that in a mental image in my mind. I want to have the experience of the cup. And what is the experience of the cup, of the reality of the cup? It's empty of inherent existence, and it is causes and conditions coming together that has parts and is being merely labeled by my mind. That is the reality. And not that this reminds me of something shiny, and then I like shining things, and then that brings me happiness. That is completely deluded way of thinking. Yes, makes sense what I'm saying. Yes, Leah.
It's created in your mind,
Mm-hmm.
but also it's something there.
Mm-hmm.
So it is the connection between your mind and what is there, even is not
Perceived
Mm.
correctly.
yes, but it's something there. So it's not that everything is created in my mind. So it is an outside reality that connect with, it's collapsed by my brain.
It's the outside reality is it's just causes and conditions coming together.
Yes.
So there is no objective reality
Yes.
in that sense.
Yes.
There's nothing that makes this cup, this glass,
Yeah.
objective a glass.
Yes. But it's something that is in quantum physics
Mhm.
collapsing with my brain.
Connecting.
Connecting.
Yes, yes, yes.
It's created the reality. Not that everything is an illusion. It's an illusion the way we
Perceive it.
perceive.
Yes,
So
great, great, great.
It is a emptiness.
So the reality of it is, we would say that there is these two realities coexisting all the time.
Yes.
The absolute nature or the absolute reality of these is being empty
Mhm.
of inherent existence.
Mhm.
Everything, that's the reality of everything, the absolute reality of everything. Nothing is inherent existence. Nothing exists from its own side. Nothing exists permanent. Nothing exists in that way, right? So that is, and the conventional reality is what we described as being causes and conditions coming together, having parts, and being labeled by the mind. What it means to exist. It can only exist if there is a mind.
In the way we decide that is the reality, but this is an hypothesis.
No, this is very good point of what you're talking about, because what you're trying to say is that, like, for example, we go out of this room.
Yes.
So all of this cease to exist when we go out of the room. That's what you say,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yes.
Does it make sense what we are discussing here? Are you guys following?
It is the way it is that we can connect it. For us is the same, but if everybody go out, something is here, even it's not the way it is.
Even if it is not experienced by us here. So in that sense, let's say like this, yes, there is an existence, right?
Yes.
But there is no inherent existence,
Yes.
and it ceases to exist for us when we go out of here.
Hmm.
But then I remember, right?
Yes.
Then it exists again.
Mhm.
For example, it doesn't exist to me right now an animal in the jungle of Amazon that I never saw, that nobody knows what it is.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist conventionally, in the sense of we don't have a label or a name for that animal. Right? That's why we cannot see something new. Does it make sense what I just said?
Yeah.
Everything that we see, we need to put into a known category. So I'm seeing these, and I need to put as, what is that? I don't know the name of these. This looks like a plate. You understand? It appears to me, it has to appear to me. For it to appear, it needs to be labeled, and labeled not necessarily given a name, in a certain way to my mind. And it will only come, and it will only come because I already have certain patterns and ideas of what that could be. Does it make sense?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. So when we are not, like, it doesn't exist to me, that room over there. It exists a room, but the way, the objective reality that that room has No idea, because there's no objective, or I'm not want to use objective, but the causes and conditions that that room has right now, I have no idea because I don't see it.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
I don't have a mental image of it.
Yes.
Yes,
But also it's independent of me. It is a double dependent. It depends on me, and my mind depends on them, on not on them. On
for it to exist to me, it depends on my mind.
yes,
So that's why we say everything comes from the mind,
yes,
because that room over there
yes.
only exists because there was a mind that created
From the beginning.
from the beginning, that existed in the way it exists now.
Yes, correct.
Because all of the sand and cement and all of that could only be put it in that shape and form
Yes.
by a mind. Does it make sense?
Yes, yes.
So, for example, there was no such thing as climate change 40 years ago, 50 years ago, let's say like this. Who created that? The mind. We think that the object creates the experience and the mind. Is the opposite. The mind creates reality, even the conventional reality.
But what about the earth by itself creating this climate change, with or without us? Because the planet Earth is also have a conscious.
Oh, we don't say that.
No,
we don't say that Earth has a consciousness.
oh,
Such a
right?
So that's another.
That's another discussion. Another discussion. But just for you to understand, just to conclude what I'm trying to say with the climate change is that the mind that is greedy, right?
Yeah.
That wants things and wants more and has belief system that like having more and more and more and more to fulfill the attachment, right? Created the exploitation of the elements, creating an imbalance in the elements, creating climate change. So it was not that climate change existed and then we observed and we say, oh, that phenomena is climate change. Yes, that happened because we are stupid, sorry, but because we don't see the thing. But actually the creation is us, right? Oh, COVID was created by animals. No, COVID was created by the mind. The grasping mind that stuck all of these animals together in that horrible situation, and that created COVID, AIDS, everything, even cancer. Because we want to use more cheap products to create our food, therefore we just create, or we create more and more situations that the ozone, how do you say, the layer goes down, and then we have stronger sun, therefore we have skin cancer. It's just cause and effect. Everything is just cause and effect. Does it make sense? Everything is just cause and effect. In the same way, good things are also just cause and effect. Right? So we developing a shot for vaccines or whatever, it's also cause and effect. Someone using their mind to create a connection in the reason why that is a suffering and that why is that, and then changing the conditions and creating a solution. Does it make sense? That is important. That's very good, because that is idea that all of the objects. So here there is something that is made of wood, and there is 4 legs, and there is a flat thing that exists. Why it exists? Because we needed something too good.
Maybe you know about what happened with the American Indians or the Maya when the Spanish arrived with these huge ships. You know this. I mean, may I share this? It's talking about what the mind knows.
Yes.
The people from America and Mexico, they never saw it before.
Yes, exactly.
A sheep,
Yes.
like when the European came,
Yes.
or these, ¿cómo se dicen los?
Armor.
The
Armor. Yes.
So that's why they couldn't realize what was it
Yes.
until it was so close.
Yes.
That's why they also thought they were gods.
Gods. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And they realized they were not so close that they could smell.
Mhm.
And by the smell, they say, uh-oh,
Bad.
bad. This cannot be God.
Yes.
Goddess.
So this is the
And
interpretation, right? There was a need of
But
interpretation.
saying about if the mind don't see it before, cannot label.
So they were labeled with the labels that they knew at the time.
Yes.
That's what they were doing,
Yes.
right? And therefore, they were reacting
Mhm.
based on their labels because they believed that those labels were true, right?
Yes.
So that is the problem that we have. When we label, we believe that those labels are true. And we already come not only with the labeling, but all of the backpack of emotions, of feelings, of discriminations, of everything into that. Does it make sense? So that's why we need to understand that the labeling in itself is not the problem, because we need a label to discriminate, discern between things. Is the added value. I don't know if it's really value, but the added components that we add to that labeling, right? And the inheritance, the fixed, the permanent, all of this that we go putting on top of it. And then what it happens? We see it as existing from the side of the object because we forget that we label it. No, we don't think we labeled it. We believe it's there, right? We believe the beauty is in the flower. Then I want, right? I believe that deliciousness is in the burrito. Then I run, right? Who put it, the deliciousness and the beauty in the flower? Me. And why did I put it that? Because I'm stupid? No. Because I have a habit and a tendency that believing that those causes and conditions coming together, right? Which I don't see it. That parts, right? That I don't see as parts. That label that I put it to define those causes and conditions, that basis, right? As flower, I see them as inherent, as permanent, as fixed, as being one thing, the label, and the label has all of these qualities. But I don't see as a label, I see as the object, yes? And I put all of these qualities, all of these characteristics on that, and I completely go and I completely react to this as if it is on that object. How insane is that? We do it everything ourselves, and guess what? We want to kill the person or the animal or the flower. We created the entire thing in our minds. Does it make sense what I'm saying? It's absolutely deluded. But there is something there. Yes, there is causes and conditions coming together, forming parts and being labeled by a mind. That's what is happening. Stop there, please. Please, let's just stop. That's why I say it's not creating. We're not creating. We're not trying to create anything. We're not trying to create and say, oh, and then the flower has the beauty on top because of this. And that. No, what the Buddha is saying, stop of what it actually is. Just stop there. Stop what it actually is. In what it is. What it is. Causes and conditions coming together, forming parts, and being labeled by a mind. Beep. So if you want to practice something, practice that. Becomes a mantra. Try to do that as a mantra. Everything that I'm seeing, listening, and everything that I'm smelling, everything that I'm tasting, everything that I'm touching, everything that I'm thinking, everything that I'm feeling, it's cause and conditions coming together, creating parts and being merely labeled by a mind. That's it. Why? Because things are empty of any other way of existing besides that. Does it make sense? It's empty of existing in any other way than just simply that. That's what the Buddha said. That's what the Buddha discovered. So that's why he didn't invent it, construct it, build anything. He just saw how things are, and he eliminated a way that is not how they were, and he stayed with the way they are. Ding. That's it. Yes? Okay, so we're going to finish. So going beyond parasamgate means that I go beyond all of these labels, all of that, and I just stay with reality.
To stay with what?
Reality. And that becomes Buddha. Bodhi, that becomes Buddha. Soha means that's what it is. That's how it is. Or and like Swaha means almost like, yeah, that's how it is, or something like this, right? So then it finishes the sutra saying, Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, should train in the profound perfection of wisdom like that. Like the way that we explained from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then the Buddha comes up, right? All the teachings, he was just there meditating. Arose from that concentration and commended. Commended means, yes, like made it like a congratulated, you know? The Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara saying, well said, son of the lineage. It is like that. It is like that. One should practice the profound perfection of wisdom just as you have indicated. Even the Tathagatas, even the Buddhas rejoice. Then the Buddha, having thus spoken, the Venerable Sharavatriputa, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara, and those that were there, all of the entire world of people, of gods, humans, asuras, Gandharvas, all of these beings that were there, were overjoyed and highly praised that spoken by the Bhagavan, by the Buddha. That's it. Does it make sense? At least some more sense. When you read these, it's going to be a little bit more understanding, because that sutra, we do it every time that before any teachings, or even every day His Holiness says for us to do it, right? Because guess what? We don't have in our daily lives, we don't have in our education system, we don't have in our worldly daily lives something that helps us to see things as they are. We don't have it. So that's why this sutra is so powerful and so precious, and we should really, 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 have it as a special place in our lives, because it is giving us the method or the training to practice wisdom, which is seeing things as they are, eliminating the root cause of our suffering, which is us adding into the way things exist another fake way of how they exist. That's why social media is it's even more degenerated, in the sense that is already putting on that even more another layer of illusion and craziness.
Now, what about now that it's more often people who try these sacred plants?
Mm-hmm.
But the way they explain is that they are more close to the inherent nature.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in this point of view, it's another illusion.
Yes, So what happens with like even now people are starting to use mushrooms or even yes, but there's like a yes, ayahuasca, but also kind of like chemicals. How do you call them?
Ketamine.
Tropic,
Huh?
tropic, something, tropic.
No, yes, ketamine, and all of these kind of like medicines that actually have not only I'm talking about plants and all of that, something more Western, let's say like that, of that they use, right, to create, let's say like this, different realities, mental realities, which are also illusion like, so people can explore a certain topic or a certain subject without all of those patterns. Yes, it's almost kind of like creating a parallel reality, so you guide that person and saying, oh, imagine that if you don't have that problem with your father, with your mother, with that, how you can actually see that in a different way. They create that. So when that illusion-like idea comes back, they can try to bring that into their reality here. Sometimes very powerful. However, it's still an illusion. We're still using something external to create another illusion so we can fix the illusion that we have.
In a therapy way it could work.
In a therapeutic way, but not in the Dharma, because the Dharma is like, how about we uproot everything so we don't need to have any type of illusions, right? So that is the difference. And it's very funny because I wanted to use ayahuasca before I become monk, not because when we are monk we cannot use anything that alters the mind. So I wanted, and the two times that like I was going in two different places. One was in Brazil and another one in I think was UK. Both places got on fire.
Tell you something.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think I would. Yes, very different experience. And the one place, the place got on fire. The other day, the person who was going to lead the thing got on fire that house. And I said, I don't want to do anymore. So I never did. But I did all the other things like mushroom and all of that. And I know so many people that did kind of like ayahuasca and things like that. And the problem is that it doesn't give them the tools to deal with the reality here. So they have an insight of something, and then what?
They get
Right?
full of fear and anxiety.
They can become very fearful and kind of like have also struggling with their normal reality because they want that one, right? And that one is needed something external for you to be active. And let's have something. It's not always like a ride in the park. Sometimes actually your mind goes into something, and it's not, and I have people, unfortunately, that I know that the chemical imbalance of these strong doses, and not even strongly, I mean really because they drank too much, but maybe just because the chemical is not used to, that they also became chemical imbalance. They have a chemical imbalance, and some of them are still suffering now, right? They start to like be dissociated with some aspects of their own bodies, like not feel anymore because that feeling, stop it. So I'm not a conservative person at all, as you know, but I really say, honestly, I've tried and I've been in Dharma, and Dharma is much better.
Much healthier.
Huh?
Much healthier.
Not only healthier, it's like it actually gives much more than these things can be, right? It's like these things can only give a little bit of kind of like temporary maybe insight, which is great. But if you come to the teachings, if you listen to this blah blah blah, I'm sure that if you really apply that, you can also have these insights without anything outside, with your own investigation, your own experience,
Your own chemicals.
your own chemicals, yeah, your own mind. There's no need. There's no need. So that's normally how I like to talk about these, right? I'm not saying that is wrong, that those that no, but I'm like there is another ways that you can do that, right? So in that sense, I think that what the Heart Sutra, if you really study and contemplate and do that, it's much more powerful because it helps us to eliminate not only for a situation, because normally people go, right, when they are having some sort of issue, some trauma, right? Some specific trauma, some issue that is happening and is activating a trauma, something like that. And I say that's very good, but it's only gonna affect that situation, that trauma, that relationship, right? And how about everything else? All of the other situations, all of the other traumas, and all of that. Here cuts everything. Pew!
And it's not permanent.
Look at this. No. Right? And it's not permanent. Why? That's a good thing. Very good that you said that. Why eliminating the cause? It's a permanent thing.
Right.
Because the moment that we eliminate the wrong view, it doesn't come back again. Because I'm just seeing reality. I'm just stopping myself of creating something. Why? Because right now I cannot do that because I don't have the wisdom. But once I have the wisdom, I just created the cause and conditions for it to happen, and then it's just going to happen. Does it make sense? That is why we say that nobody was pure before, and then they got ignorant, and they start to confuse their minds, and now they're trying to be pure again. That's not how it goes. My mom asked this question the other day when I was giving this teaching and said, yeah, but the babies, they come pure and then they got it like, contaminated and this. And I said, not like this. It's already. Every single sentient being since beginningless times has always been ignorant.
Can be worse.
Could be worse.
Yeah.
Right? That's it. Only Buddhas have eliminated that, and they continue without it. That's it. So that gives us, because why? Because reality doesn't change. Remember, if I'm seeing the snake in the rope, the rope doesn't become anything. It doesn't become the snake. It doesn't affect the rope. It doesn't change the nature of the rope, right? So it's the same way. It's like when we eliminate the view, reality is always there. It's always been there and will always be there. Yes? Does it make sense? That is the reason. Okay, thank you very much. Good night. So, I hope it was in any way understandable what we did, what we talked today. It's literally just like, like
Dipping our toe.
tipping our toes. I love it. Yes, tipping our toes, just tasting the water, and now it depends on us to create the wish and also create the discipline, the habit to actually dive our minds into these more and more. There's a very, very nice books that you can read. There's a very nice book from His Holiness. There's two books nice from the host. There's one called the commentary of the Heart Sutra that His Holiness wrote. Very nice. But there's one that is quite simple but very profound to read, which is called How to See Yourself as You Really Are by His Holiness. How to See Yourself as You Really Are. You can buy it on Amazon or anywhere. It's very easy. Honestly, it's a book that I try to read it at least once a year because it's so nice. How to See Yourself as You Really Are from the Dalai Lama. His Holiness is the best one to talk about it because when he's talking about it, it's almost like you can see he's talking from experience, right? And another person that me personally, Kalden, has such a powerful impact in my mind, of course, is listening to Rinpoche's teachings, right? The way Rinpoche talks about how the ignorance manifests in our minds, it's extremely rare. Because Rinpoche goes saying, oh, we see the object. And then we say, and then the appearance of the object, it's contaminated. And then we cling to it. And then, all of the problems come. We don't see that in the texts. The texts don't talk like they so experiential like Rinpoche. It's very special. Rinpoche has so many teachings about it. And then the Rinpoche has one, I think we might have it here. I don't know if we have also like Virtue and Reality. It's a free book that if we don't have here, I'll ask Anthony to get more for us. It's also Rinpoche talking about that, talking about understanding. And now they have a small little book called I can't remember if it's like how the I, recognizing the I or something like this. The I as I am, not as I as, about from Rinpoche. Woo, very good, very small, very good essence, going to the point, which is very difficult for Rinpoche. They did a very good editing because it goes really to the point of the main aspect. Because, as I said, it's very difficult for us to understand how it's us recognizing the wrong view. That is the most difficult part for us, because now the wrong view is our reality. Yes? Does it make sense what I'm saying? So recognizing the wrong view is very, very important. So that's what Rinpoche is talking about. Quite a lot. And then there's another teacher of mine that for me also, she, together with His Holiness, to talk about emptiness, to talk about it. And she's absolutely special. It's Kundrila. And she's really, Kundrila is her name. Kundrila, Khandrola. And the way she talks about it is just so simple.
Can you spell that again?
Khandrola.
Thank you.
And she speaks it from her experience because she's absolutely wonderful. So really her teachings are very, very special. Very special. Very, very special. So she doesn't have any books, but she has a lot of teachings. She has more teachings online nowadays. So also, because it's very different than just me. I don't know anything, but I'm just like repeating some things, having a little bit of sharing, trying to share my non-existent experience, but just sharing a little bit of what we can accomplish in our daily lives and bringing it to daily lives. That is very important. And then we go and we listen to these other teachings from His Holiness, from Rinpoche, from Kundrila. Then it becomes, okay, I start to understand more, right? And guess what? Listening about this and listening and reading the commentary about, the Heart Sutra, we're going to have to do it maybe in lifetimes, right? But that's fine. We just keep going and it becomes easier. And more, we touch and we connect it more and more and more, right?
Are there many sutras?
There are many sutras, but what we call definitive sutras like this one, this is the most important one, right? There are other sutras where the Buddha talks also about the nature of the mind, the nature of reality, but not as deep as the Heart Sutra. So it's
Diamond Sutra? I don't know what that is.
A what?
Diamond Sutra.
Diamond Sutra, yes, Diamond Cutter. There's another sutra that is called the Vajracutter Sutra, right? Which is also talks a little bit about it, but it's a little bit longer and you can kind of like read it. I love sutras, reading sutras. I just found them absolutely special. But if you don't have a commentary, if you don't understand, it doesn't sometimes make sense, right? So that was the idea, because we use this sutra quite a few times, so it's important for you guys to understand a bit the essence of it. So I highly recommend. Rinpoche gave me very special meditations on emptiness every day. He says every day you need to meditate on emptiness, right? So
What we were gonna do, a meditation or?
we're not gonna do it today. I don't think so. We're gonna have.
Is it a meditation on emptiness then?
There is a meditation on emptiness. There are meditations on emptiness, quite a lot of meditations on emptiness on YouTube. Well, I did it last year, I think, some meditation on emptiness at the end. But one of the main meditations on emptiness that we can do is trying to find the I,
Oh, the 4-point
the
analysis.
4-point analysis. That is the most, you know?
I haven't done that in a while.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. You know, I wanted to have done today. I'm so sorry. I just got distracted because that is we're gonna do it the last Saturday, the 6th of January, 6th of December. We're gonna do one.
I think in
Yes.
How to See Yourself as You Really Are, I think they go through the
Yes,
steps of it.
yes. How you see yourself as you really are, they are there. And also, there is another book that has the meditation. I think that on the one from Sangha Kathleen McDonald's.
Is it in the How to Meditate book?
How to meditate. Yes, how to meditate. Yeah, that's the one. There is also there one meditation. So very important. We're gonna do one and at the day. It's very important to meditate on emptiness, right? But also just using what I said, right? Just use the mantra. Everything exists as cause and conditions coming together, creating parts and being merely labeled by the mind. And that's it. That's all.
Can you say that again? So,
The mantra is everything exists by causes and conditions that create parts.
Right.
And these parts are merely labeled by the mind. That's it. Stop there. Ending, how to say, point. Like, how to say that? Period. Period. Right? That's it. Don't go anywhere else. So that is why I say it's more of undoing than actually doing something. What we do immediately after that, we put a lot of things inside, right? So try to catch yourself in that moment and try not to put all of this. Yes.
So that's how enlightened being is so happy all the time. It's like you make session,
Everything.
you realize it.
His emptiness is always there. The object of the mind, it means the mind of the Buddhas, it's always on emptiness. It's seeing things as they are, empty of inherent existence. And seeing things as they appear, means by cause and conditions, being creating parts and being merely labeled by the mind. That's it. The conventional existence. That's it. So they're always seeing that. So they're always happy. Then everything good. Not like us, seeing everything the opposite way and suffering all the time. So there's only two types of beings: us, confused beings, or Buddhas. And the difference, what we call each of them, is that the right view or the wrong view. That's it.
An example, one of our previous teachers, Geshe Lan,
Mhm.
name, and I read a newspaper report about him interviewing him. Well, what do you do for relaxation? And he said, I'm always relaxed.
Yes, right? The most important thing for us to relax is that meditating and understanding reality. Then we can relax. Then we really relax. Then things don't become so confused, so inherent, so heavy, so solid, so permanent, so boring. Mhm. So that's what we do. So thank you so much. And we try to dedicate everything that we learned, everything that we actually heard, everything that we tried to kind of like accomplish today. You know, if any benefit we got, we try to use it to what? To eliminate the causes of our confusion, to eliminate the cause of our wrong views, so we can not only develop that correct view ourselves, but the more we develop, so we can start helping others right now. We don't need to wait until we develop completely, but we're only going to be able to completely help others, right? Benefit others if we completely eliminate the wrong view of our minds. So we try to, while we are doing and analyzing and developing this wisdom inside of ourselves, we go helping others to decrease their wrong views in whatever way we can. If it is shutting up our mouths, it's by shutting up our mouths. If it is talking, it's talking. If it is doing this or that, it doesn't matter. It's the intention that counts. Yes? So we use whatever we accomplished today, whatever we realized today, whatever we thought today, in order to do that, to accomplish that. And doing it is the best thing that we can to completely eliminate and eradicate all the suffering in the world. not temporary, forever. Yes? Because if everybody sees how things exist, no more wars, no more suffering, no more anything. So let's do that. Okay? Thank you so, so much. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening to this. Thank you, Rowan. Rowan is in New Zealand listening to this. So kind, so, so kind. So thank you so much for being here. And I see you tomorrow at 11, isn't it? Okay.
Yes, 11.
11. Bye.